Good, hey, how are you? See you. How are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. We're about to get started. Thank you. Good morning. Witam Świrobica. It is wonderful to be here in Tbilisi, in Georgia, in Europe. I want to thank all of you for coming. We have a great program here today. My name is Kurt Volker. I'm Executive Director of the McCain Institute for International Leadership, which is a part of Arizona State University and named to honor Senator and Mrs. McCain and the McCain family. We're delighted to partner here in Georgia with the Economic Policy Research Center, which has done a tremendous job in organizing this conference. We're very grateful for the support we've received for this conference from the Open Society Foundation, from the British Embassy, and from the American Embassy, so we're grateful for that. And we are here with one clear purpose in mind, and that is to stay focused on the vision of building a Europe whole, free, and at peace. We've had tremendous success in seeing the realization of that vision since 1989 in Europe. When we only look at a country like Estonia, or Lithuania, or Latvia, or Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and we see the success of building democracy, building market economy and prosperity, building security, collaborating together to build a community. And this is a project that has involved Americans, West Europeans, Central Europeans, East Europeans, institutions, NATO, the European Union, and it is a vision that has never been fully completed and realized. And we're here in a country today, Georgia, and we look around the neighborhood and we see Ukraine, we see Moldova, we see Belarus, we see Azerbaijan across the border, we see Armenia, and we see a neighborhood in Europe where that same vision of freedom, democracy, rule of law, market economy, and security has not been fully realized. And yet the people of these countries aspire to that. We've brought together today representatives from Western Europe, Central Europe, NATO, the European Union, the United States. The entire Georgian leadership is here. Georgian opposition members are here. Activists from Ukraine, from Moldova, from Russia, in order to renew a focus on this vision. I don't think any of us, whether we're Americans or Europeans or Georgians, Russians, others, can look at ourselves and think that we have done enough. We need to do more in order to build a peace. But the fundamental fact is that every citizen, whether it's Georgian, Ukrainian, Russian, German, American, should have the same right to build a society, to live in peace, security, freedom, democracy, prosperity, and to know that that's going to be secure for future generations. We're not there, so we want to focus on that today. We have a great conference laid out. We're going to hear first from the President and the Prime Minister of Georgia. We'll then take a brief coffee break as the Prime Minister has to depart. we'll have a conversation with the President, a conversation with Lieutenant General Ben Hodges, the Commander of U.S. Army Europe, and then a further break, and then we'll begin our panel discussions for the day. Over the course of this day and a half, we're going to be walking through this issue of a Europe whole and free fairly systematically. We want to talk about the vision, and do we agree on the vision and where we're going? We want to talk about security, the challenges we face, and how are we doing in addressing those challenges. We want to talk about democracy and civil society. How are we doing in seeing the right kind of societies develop that can integrate to a Europe whole and free? How are we doing on the economics and the energy picture, and are we really building the foundations of those things? And what is the work plan that each of us should walk away with? That'll be the last session that we do on Tuesday. So with that, welcome. We are delighted that you are here. I see many friends in the audience, many people who fought for that same vision that I've just described over many, many years in many institutions. And I'll invite to the podium the President of Georgia, President Margvelashvili.
Dear audience, distinguished guests, let me express my appreciation with a very impressive presence here, and the belief that the people present here and the minds that are present here are going to be crafting and answering some of the most important and some of the most challenging questions that are going to affect the future of my country, of the region, and the future of Europe and stability in Europe. It's a great advantage to have you all here. It's a great advantage to gather you all around these very important issues and subjects to be discussed. At the same time, I think that this is logical that we are all present in Tbilisi, we are all present in Georgia, in a country that has been a place where 6 years ago, basically the same time in August, we have all seen and witnessed shaking and sort of questioning the future of European stability and security. It was in August of 2008 when we all have witnessed that something different is happening, and the different is happening in the region, and this difference was in having regular Russian troops on the soil of an independent and sovereign country. A crisis that broke out suddenly, and the crisis that has marked a turning point in describing what is the reality, what is the security status in Georgia, as well as broader, I would say, in all neighborhood that is around Russia. At that time, I think some of us could predict that this could continue and this could happen once again. Yet I don't think that all of us have done our homework to prevent things that have happened, the crisis that had broke out in Ukraine 5 years after 2008. What we are witnessing now is the fact that European stability and security is an open issue. And the main answers, the main question marks that have been created in 2008, the main question marks that have been even more emphasized in 2014, have not yet been answered. And without answering those answers, neither of us, in the countries of Eastern Partnership, the countries of Europe, cannot feel stable and cannot be sure and safe in developing and furthering our country's sovereignty and independence. I believe that the equation of European stability and security cannot be discussed without facing the facts of Georgia, without facing the facts of Ukraine, but even more, without not facing and acknowledging and really answering the questions, how do we deal with the policy of privileged interest zones? There is a stated and very clear foreign policy message from Moscow. And the foreign policy message clearly states that the countries neighboring Russia, or you may call them countries of ex-Soviet Union, or maybe even countries of ex-Russian Empire, are considered to be interest zones of Russian Federation, and the issues happening on these countries, they are mainly considered by Russian politicians as an area where they can decide those issues through any formats, including military. And in talking about from case-to-case basis, what is happening in Georgia, or what is happening in Ukraine, or what is happening in Crimea, or what is happening in Skin Valley, might not be the right way to approach. We have a foreign policy clear message and a vision from Russia. We don't have to run away from this vision. We have to have an answer to this vision. And I don't still have to see an answer like that among countries and among the states that we belong to and that we are entitled to. So I wish you all the best in this extraordinary environment with this extraordinary weather. I will be excited to hear your thoughts, concepts, and conclusions. I want to thank McCain Institute for organizing this great event with such a terrific audience, and wish you all the success in upcoming work. And I want to give the floor to the Prime Minister, Mr. Garibashvili.
Thank you, Mr. President, and if I could invite to the podium now the Prime Minister of Georgia, Irakli Garibashvili. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Dear friends, distinguished guests, I'd like to warmly welcome you to Georgia. I'm grateful to the Economic Policy Research Center and the McCain Institute for International Leadership for organizing this conference. I'd like to thank Senator McCain and the McCain Institute for the support of Georgia. America is Georgia's premier strategic ally, and Senator McCain is one of Georgia's strongest advocates in Congress. And on numerous occasions, we have enjoyed a frank exchange of views, and I know he cares deeply about our country. And we're excited that you're here. I understand the main focus of your time here is to discuss Europe's geopolitical landscape and its implications for frontline states. And our country really is the ultimate frontline state. We're on the front lines of many major challenges facing the international community. In the face of significant regional security threats and economic headwinds, we're moving our country forward with the same pragmatic approach and spirit that our ancestors embodied for thousands of years to ensure their security and survival. And this year we celebrate the 20th anniversary of Georgia's constitution, perhaps our most important document. And next year we will celebrate the 25th anniversary of Georgia's independence. This is when we regained independence after the collapse of the Soviet Union. So on these remarkable anniversaries, we will commit ourselves to ensure peace, prosperity, and freedom for all Georgians. Getting to this point hasn't been a fierce struggle against many forces, both foreign and domestic forces, that have sought to slow our progress. And I'm part of a new generation of Georgians who have grown up experiencing remarkable change. Our generation of leadership knows that our country cannot afford to repeat the mistakes of the past, and that we must redouble our efforts to ensure a safer, more free and prosperous future. Last year I signed Georgia's association agreement with the European Union, which serves as a master plan for Georgia's modernization. A key component of in Georgia's path to democracy has been our European and Euro-Atlantic integration. And our commitment to aligning more closely with the United States and Europe goes hand in hand with our commitment to continue democratic transformation. Since this government came to power, we have created a system of governance that is more open and accountable to the people. And we have also strengthened democracy by establishing real checks and balances between the branches of government and decentralizing power to local governments. My government is focused on issues that concern ordinary Georgians. In addition to building a strong democracy, there are three key areas where we are focused. First, we seek to grow our economy to provide more jobs at better wages for more people. And we are investing in the small and medium business and agriculture sectors. And we are building better roads, bridges, and ports to move our goods and more fully integrate into the global economy. And my government is leveraging Georgia's unique location to establish itself as a vital commercial hub, linking European and Asian markets. And we're also taking action to make Georgia an even more attractive location for foreign investment. And I'm proud that the World Bank ranked Georgia 15th out of 189 countries in its Doing Business 2015 report, and that in 2014, foreign direct investment in Georgia grew by 87% from the previous year. Second, we are providing for the social well-being of our people through more investments in education and healthcare. Education is the key to a brighter future for our children, and everyone deserves the right to a healthy life. We launched a new program where the government will provide financial support for our students to study abroad, as long as they return and put the skills they've learned to work in Georgia in service to their country. And for those who cannot travel abroad, we are bringing world-class education to them and are now providing many support for free. On the healthcare front, I'm proud that we're going to save about 200,000 lives through a new and creative campaign to combat hepatitis C. In a country the size of Georgia, this is no small thing. And finally, we are committed to defending and protecting the sacred sovereignty of our nation. We must establish a lasting peace built on strength and practical relations with our neighbors, especially Russia. Georgia is America and Europe's dear friend and ally, no matter which political party is in power in Georgia, and our interests align and our friendship runs deep. And the beauty of democracy is that just because the captain may change, as we say, the ship is still heading in the right direction. And we must continue to work closely together to ensure peace, stability, and democracy prevail in this region. So once again, I would like to thank the organizers and all of you for your passion, and I wish you all the best for a productive and fun time in Georgia. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. President, if I could invite you to come to the stage as well.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
That's it?
Thank you.
We now have a brief coffee break. The Prime Minister needs to depart and we need to reset the stage. We'll begin again in just 15 minutes. Thank you.